Hello, we're here with Francis Ma, who is visiting GDG DevFest. DevFest is a campaign that is everywhere in the world, really, but New York City is kicking off. And he was our keynote speaker, and he's here also to give another keynote to all the startups. Francis Ma, please tell us something that is not publicly known about you.
Oh wow! Well, first off, it's been an amazing privilege to be here in New York and help kick off DevFest, right? And so, super excited to be here. A little bit about me that is maybe not publicly known. So, recently I've picked up a hobby of getting into pour over coffee. So I'm a little bit of a
Coffee snob.
a little bit of a nerd, I would say. I first started with being interested in the science of coffee, of like, hey, how do they grow it? What's the chemical balance behind it? It's a little bit of, the science side of me. But then also, of course, the craft of making it and tasting it. It's a little bit of cooking. It's sort of like an art. So it's kind of like an infusion. And who doesn't love start with a nice cup of coffee every day? So
How does the one that you make compare to
every
yours
cup
here?
is enjoyable. You know what? I love it. It's just like, hey, have a great conversation, coffee.
So you
Can't
come from
complain.
the Bay Area. They must have good coffee there.
Not bad, not bad. I did live in Seattle for a few years, and that's when I first had learned about coffee. And I would say that, now a lot of places have great coffee, but I first got interested in the hobby when I was in Seattle.
You seem to be really into it. Is that the same strategy you apply to the products you're in charge of, and what are they?
Yeah, no, I am very grateful to get to do what I do on a day-to-day job, being at Google, being able to work with product engineering teams. And for the last, I've been at Google for 14 years. I've been building a lot of developer products throughout this journey. I've spent some time on Android in the early days. I've spent many years on Firebase. And now most recently, I support what's called the Google for Developers team, and we work with community programs like GDG, startup accelerators, as well working very closely with our product teams that build developer tools like the Gemini CLI or Flutter and Firebase and the Go language. So there's a whole lot of portfolio, but the common theme of it all is all about how do we work with developers and ultimately, for us to be able to partner with the ecosystem to innovate and build things that can make the world better.
That's amazing, all these products that are used by billions. You mentioned Android. We had a chance to have a speaker, Rich Miner, who is one of the Android founders,
Oh
still at
yes,
Google.
he's legendary.
So, yes, we did an interview with him. That was during the pandemic, when he was in Boston and we were in New York, and it was a hybrid.
Uh-huh.
And he shared something that I was remembered. He said that the timing was right when Android took off and is the most popular mobile operating system. But he said that now it would be impossible to do something like that. And that was a couple of years ago. Has the time changed? And is it now possible to use this amazing AI revolution to become as big as Android?
Yeah, I feel that, every technology, like technological wave, if you will, really opens up a whole lot of possibilities and opportunities, right? You talked about Android in the era of mobile, when the smartphones started becoming more ubiquitously available, that was a huge opportunity. And for us today, AI, I feel like we are at the very early days of AI, and we're just getting started, right? You look at all the new innovations that are coming out every few months, and sometimes even quicker than that. And you're starting to see, a lot of innovative solutions that developers are using a lot of these, cutting edge AI models to be able to do more and more. as an example, we're all fans of the Nano Banana. I'm sure you've seen
Oh,
all the
Nano
all the
Banana
cool,
went wild.
yeah, all the cool images. And even for me personally, I love playing with it. And so that's just really an example when you look at it. Technology like Nano Banana, even if you look back a couple months ago, it was very different. And so just imagine where the world will be in 6 months from now, right? So I just feel like, wow, we're right at this cusp of like just really starting out of what's possible and being unlocked. So back to your question about, hey, is there an opportunity for us to do something big? I feel like even bigger than the mobile era. And now, like, there's just so many different applications that AI can go. So I can't wait to see. It's such a great time to be alive.
That's an amazing question. Nano Banana is wild. I sent some images from another event we had where it looks like is a 3D figure, and
Yeah.
I sent it to speakers who are experts, and I thought that I printed this.
Yeah.
Yes, that was what the even so people
Yeah.
don't even know is
Yeah.
that real or not. So
Uh-huh.
this is amazing. But you mentioned so many products you're in charge of. And if you were to bet on one, how do you decide which one should we put our resources into? Things change so fast. Do you
Yeah.
plan for years or for minutes?
It's a really good question, and I would say that at the heart of it is about listening to the users and the customers. Like that's definitely a big part of it, right? Talking to developers, to customers, to users, really understand, well, what are the pain points that people are feeling, and furthermore, to really drill deep into look at, well, what is it that they're feeling and how do we then solve it, right? And those are some of the ways that it helps sparks the idea. So that's like one element of it. So for example, people might say that, hey, look, I'm trying to get to work, get to school, right? And many years ago, people would say, okay, well, you know, back in the days of riding horses, people are like, okay, if you're just listening to the surface problem, you might say, okay, how do we build a faster horse? But it's really important to listen to what the customer is really trying to do deep down as they're trying to get from one place to another, right? And that was an example of how, automobiles and
You
other things. And that's just an analogy, right? But like time and time again, like a lot of new innovations, we talk about smartphones. It's like, oh, I don't want to have a computer, it's too clunky at home. How do it fit in our pocket? And now in the age of AI, there's just so much more innovations there. So, a large part of it is definitely drawn from customers. And I'd say the other aspect of it is also being creative internally and experiment and try things. So, we do a lot of iterations and test things within Google. Some of that we release publicly. Some of that we're just iterating and learning internally. But certainly, it's really a mix of listening to the users as well as looking at creative ways to address some of the problems there.
That's amazing. It's just hard to imagine that you have so much data and you make decisions based on data, but you also have to look in the future and use data and
That's right.
predictions and steal your mind and brilliance. And to finish this amazing interview, and we appreciate your time, what it would be the one product you would recommend now developers to look into and really master, since there's so many coming out every minute, everything changes. If you were to say to someone who wants to be in technology and be creative and be the next unicorn, what is your recommendation? Is it Firebase,
Well,
vibe coding, or
Of course, I'm a big fan of Firebase, having worked on it, and I feel like there's so many recommendations I can give. Of course, I think that back to your question about, hey, like if I'm just getting started, what is a great place to get started to learn? And in the age of AI, AI Studio is really the Google AI Studio is
yes,
really a
studio,
great
perfect
entry
answer.
point. And we've got a super easy to remember URL for that, which is just ai.dev, right? And gets you started. And so from a product standpoint, it's really a great entry point. And if I may, I'll give a bonus plug as well, which is we also have a Google Developer Program that is really a great resource for the developer community to be able to join and participate. And by joining the Google Developer Program, you can get access to learning materials, specialized code labs, early access to products, as well as a great way to network. So that's another one that I would recommend. And that URL is also easy to remember, which is google.dev. And that's it.
Oh, this is
you can get started
fantastic.
with two easy places.
AI.dev and Google.dev.
There you go.
You heard it from Francis Ma, who is a guest in New York, and we appreciate to have you.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.